Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth edition of Lifft India Filmotsav World Cine Fest and Awards 2020. We are here with our jury member, Mr. Abhimanyu Ray. He is responsible for judging the films, short films especially. He's been with us since our previous edition in 2019. So this is the second year that he is with us.
Hi, Riju.
Hello, Abhimanyu.
Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
welcome to Lift India, the online session.
Great.
Uh, it's good to have you, and we really thank you from the bottom of our heart for being with Lift India and helping us for judging the films uh, since last year. I know it's been we've given you a terrible time with these films
I
that
had a lot of time.
we've just been dumping
Driving through.
numerous films on you, and you had to juggle through them in your busy schedule, and and you took time off for this, so we really value that, and
No, no, it's
we really thank you once again.
not at all.
So I would like to know, Abhi, Manu, that how has been your experience of being with Lift India so far? Like, what are the kind of films that you saw in the previous edition in 2019? And of course, you did grant a lot of awards to those films, and you're responsible. And in fact, the credit goes to you because a festival is known by the films, yes, of course, but it's also known by the jury that you have and the kind of films that we recognize at this platform. So, a major role and the credit goes to you for building that image for Left India.
Thank you.
So, your words about your experience of the films in the previous edition.
2019.
Yes.
Uh, well, 2019 was extremely difficult. There were some really good films. You had to really rack your brains to try and choose between the final few. This year has been fairly good in comparison to 2019. I think 2019 had, in general, it had stronger films. Though there have been some very good films this year, indeed, and I think the films that have been chosen for an award in any particular department is extremely deserving, and there have been some tough decisions to make. There have been, I think it's kind of boiled down to at least 3 to 4 films per category, which I had to decide between, and I'm happy to see that there's a very good amount of variety as far as countries are concerned, languages, um, maybe even styles. But it's good to see that in such a short span of time that one is being able to kind of make comparisons between several countries and not just a few. There have been entries from possibly maybe more than 15 countries this year, and I think that's healthy. That's it's a good sign. And
Yes, this year we've grown a little wider in the sense we've got about films from more than 50 countries.
yeah, yeah. So it's been very good, and there have been some good films. I do wish there, one gets to see more and more languages and films as we progress in the coming years. And that's what a festival is all about. It's all about like-minded people all you know merging, and that's what makes it more fun.
So, what is when we select a film? I mean, there are so many aspects that we look into in selecting a film.
Mm.
As per like, it has to be appealing. It has to draw your attention, it has to hold your attention. Then we come on to the other aspects of the lighting or the camera or the performances or the writing or the directions or the issues. There are certain sometimes there are films which are not technically so superior, but the topic that they have selected or chosen to be depicted in the film are very important. So they also formulate to be selected from the writing point of view, or the thought or the philosophy point of view. So that all goes in the selection aspects. So I would like to know that what is it that goes into your head when you are shortlisting those films to arrive at the award.
So that's, I mean, you've of course um, answered quite a few things. I mean, these are all the things that cross your mind when you're trying to assess a film, and it's extremely difficult to do that because there are so many aspects to it, and there's so many dimensions that need to be looked into. I think so. The thing is, you have to finally come down to a conclusion that, okay, so what is it for me? So I'll tell you what it's for me. For me, it's to try to understand the uh, filmmakers uh, who have put the film together. You see, I've made short films in the past, and I know how difficult it is to make a short film, and it's difficult because of primarily budget and resources. And some of the films are absolutely brilliant, and I mean, I know there must be some films which couldn't afford anything. They may have just shot it on their phone cameras and had no budget. I recently edited a film for a friend who's made a film on on an iPhone, and I think the film must have cost him maybe $10. That's it, and it's a very good film. And then there must be films, short films. I mean, which even I have made, where one manages to get the funds, and it's very difficult at some point to be comparing a film which is 5 minutes versus a film which is 35 minutes, a film which had absolutely no budget compared to a film which had a budget, or at least a budget that's fair enough to be able to work with. So I think one's f- main priority is to see who who are the filmmakers who are directors of the future, who I feel I can see um, glimpses of uh, their skill, and I think that's the most important thing for me, more than anything else. Once that is done, it's about the story. You see, in short films, one place which I feel, which is, I mean, fashionable is the wrong word, but it's a tendency of a lot of people when they're making a short film, and usually it's probably one of the first few films that they're ever making in their life. So um, uh, usually they're very conceptually based. So the filmmaker or the aspiring filmmaker, he or she will have a concept, and then one tends to kind of form the whole film around that one concept. But there's a difference to just r- reaching that point as compared to uh, telling a story. So how these directors are telling the story is what is most important for me. And then you have the other aspects which are considered or taken into consideration, which is the departments, which will be the cinematography, will be the quality of actors, the script, the screenplay, the production design, editing and sound and music and everything else, the casting, you know. And obviously, when the director is extremely particular, and is extremely careful as to how he wishes to project all these departments, uh, in able to tell the story the way the story needs to be told, or to make the story more effective, uh, that's what I'm looking for. So it's pretty vast.
Uh, how important is it for you for a festival? I mean, like what we have, where we have a lot of films coming out of so many diverse countries with different topics. As you said, that it's better that we should grow into more countries and we get more languages and diverse topics. So, why is it so important to increase that number?
It's healthy, Riju. It's healthy. It's it's so important to put yourself out there. Uh, it's a healthy thing to do. It's a healthy thing to compete. It's a healthy thing to win. It's a healthy thing to lose, to be rejected, to be criticized, to be appreciated. It's all part of being a filmmaker, and that's why it's so important that. And I think that's one of the things which I love about LIFFT is that uh, I remember when I spoke with you last few months ago, and that time you had told me that even this year you've not charged anyone as such, and I think that's so encouraging, because I mean, whatever money one has to make a short film, you want to push it into that. And I'm talking from my experience that when I first made my first short film, it was on a Super 16, um, and of course, a lot of pull a lot of favors from here and there, and then eventually you end up spending a lot of money when you come to the stage of sending it to festivals. And I'm very proud of the fact that one that this is a festival that people can just present their work without worrying about all these funds, because it all adds up. It all adds up. So I'm sorry. What was the question you'd asked me? I think I
No, you were not digressing from the topic. The question I had asked you: why is it so important to increase the number of countries or the number of films that come to the festival?
Yes, of
How
course.
does
It's
yes?
for competition. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're here for. We are here to showcase ourselves. We're here to compete, and we're here to just kind of share our work with one another. And that's what art is really about. I mean, even if you're a painter, I mean, if you're painting at home and you're just keeping it on your wall, art needs to be shared, and then it needs to belong to the viewer or the listener or whoever's experiencing it. It's theirs, you know, and well, that's the purpose of art. The purpose, and this helps serve the purpose. Let's put it that way. You know,
Can you recall any of the films from the previous year which has left a mark in your mind, and you can instantly recall that film from our last edition?
there was a film that got pulled off. I don't know why the filmmaker pulled it off. I was very upset. There's a film called 14. I still remember the name. I'm horrible with
Yes,
names. I'm absolutely horrible with names.
yes.
I
It
remember
was an
I
Australian film, I guess. Yeah.
no. It was I think it was American. I think it was American, but it was one of the very finest short films I've ever seen. And I mean, it would have deserved at least. a nomination, if nothing more, for every department in that film.
Yes, they. I think it had happened accidentally. They had pressed the wrong button, and
Oh, that's a
after
shame.
yes, so after the I got an email from them later after the awards and everything happened, and they felt, oh well, we received your email very late, and we realized that
Oh, that's a shame. So then there was
I
another
know.
film. There were quite a few films. I mean, I really enjoyed the films last year, a hell of a lot. Then I can remember Depressed, which I fell in love with. I think that was the
Yes,
best film,
yes,
Depressed. And then there was Joss. Uh,
Josh. Yes,
I have seen that. I think just 2 months back, I was showing it to a friend of mine
yeah,
because it's so brilliantly made. And I think the gentleman got the best actor award in Joss,
yes,
French
yes, yes,
actor.
yes,
I'm
yes,
sorry, I can't recall his name right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and there were some other films, and I'm sure if I see a little snippet, I'll it'll all flash back and I'll remember. Uh,
Well, my favorite film from the previous edition was a platform.
oh, of course, the Japanese film. The
Yes.
Japanese film. I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it. I think it got best cinematography is what we gave it.
Yes.
So I
Yes. Yes.
remember that part. Yeah. So that was
Um,
best cinematography. I think it deserved everything. It was absolutely brilliant.
yes. Yes.
But now that we're talking about this, Riju, what happens is that it's so important to be exposed to what uh, other people do who have maybe a different conditioning of environment. I think that's something which is very important for a festival, for a person who submits his film or her film into a festival, is to also observe how other cultures are and how other filmmakers react in different environments. Now, I've noticed I've hardly seen a happy Iranian film. I've never been to Iran, but from the films, I can tell that maybe there's a certain general environment over there, which is influencing the filmmakers to make films of a certain kind. And then when you look at Japan, they are far more experimental films. And then uh, you look at India. I find Indian films are usually more conceptually based, not so story based. Um, the English films, American films. I unfortunately we've not had too many films from Africa. I
Yeah.
wish we would get more entries from Africa. Um, but yes, some of the African films which have come are dealing with certain situations that the filmmaker must be going through in his country. So coming back to the point, what I'm trying to say here, Riju, is that this is what is more important because it makes us more sensitive to one another. It actually helps us to understand one another a little bit more,
Great.
and that's the
So,
importance of the festival.
yes, of course. So, do you think that you are a filmmaker yourself, director, and you're a music composer, and you are an artist in the sense you paint? Uh, do you think these are the elements or your work that you do in these fields help you in assessing the films better?
Absolutely,
In what
absolutely.
way?
It's very difficult to say. I don't want to boast about myself. But what
No,
I'm
it
trying
is
to
just
say,
it's basically see I would
uh,
want my the viewers who are watching it would get a little bit of insight into
yeah,
what's there in the
yeah.
jury's head, you know,
So,
because
so,
uh,
so no, so the thing is, it's very difficult. In fact, somewhere I feel that's something that you should answer on my behalf, since you selected me. But what I'm trying to say. because so
Well, I
that's
mean,
the
these are the factors for
exactly,
having you on board, because
exactly.
we see
So
that you are a complete packet. You are a filmmaker yourself. You are a
so
music composer yourself. You're a
yeah,
painter yourself.
and a
Uh,
casting director,
and
and
of course, and you are one of the leading casting directors of our country in India. I mean,
so
you've
so
cast,
so
and you have given a legacy of casting directors. In fact, most of the casting directors, the right now, have been under trained under you.
some of them, yeah. But the thing is, Riju, it's like this for me, okay? Because if someone else was in my place, maybe the film choices, the final choices could have been different. Of course, it's possible.
Of course, possible.
However, I always feel that, work should speak for itself. I'm pretty confident of the films that have been chosen. I love the fact that there's absolutely no interference whatsoever. I love the fact that I'm not connected to any of the filmmakers. Uh, I love the fact that I'm left to my own devices, and I'm not told, what's a trend. I know there are so many. In fact, when I was seeing some of the films, especially when I see films on social messages, somewhere it's not even a concern, but it's I don't know. It's an observation. I see a lot of laurels on a poster, which is to do with a um, social message, and that's when you kind of start thinking about the difference between a social message and storytelling.
Yeah.
You can talk about something that is of concern in society, but it's the story that you're telling, and it's the story that's important that we need to experience. And like last year, there was this wonderful film. I wish it was made better. It was to do with water, and it was such a lovely story, and I was so impressed by that story. But the execution of it could have been better. So um, the thing is, so I guess once people watch these films, I think a lot of people, not maybe not everyone, of course not everyone. I mean, even in the Oscars, there are people who are like, oh damn, I wish that film had got it. This film didn't deserve the Oscar, and that's fine. But I'm sure if people were to see some more of the films, if they were able to see more of the films, they would possibly agree that this particular film is deserving for this award. um, and that's something which is extremely important for the festival. It's very important for me, it's very important for you, it's very important for all the people who've put in the hard work. It's important for everyone that that the selection is not something that is easily disputed. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that when viewers are going to watch these films, they would possibly agree that yes, this film does deserve this award. And that's where I have to put my assessment to test, because it's not about what I'm enjoying, what I'm liking, and this and that. It's almost like you have to study the film. You have to try and study the filmmaker. You have to try and study um, the psychology of the film, or the psychology of the director or the writer, and what these people are trying to do. And that's how I really wish one would look into it. I mean, that's how I wish for my film to be viewed, or to be judged. And I would appreciate it if someone was seeing my film with that perspective. So it's only fair for me to put in that effort before uh, choosing someone. And also because there are several films which you're racking your brain sometimes for a few days. I'm thinking, oh, should it be this one or this one? And you just can't figure it out. And then you're thinking and thinking at night before sleeping. You're waking up in the morning and you're thinking like, no, 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 no. She was brilliant. No, but so was she. So yeah, there's so much of choices that need to be made, and at some point, I suppose you have to kind of make a choice, and you have to maybe feel bad about the other person because you feel, no, I wish that person could. In fact, yesterday I was trying to wanting to ask you. Yesterday I was actually wanting to call you and ask you if we can actually give two awards for the same category to two different people. You know.
Yes, of course. I mean, why not? I mean, if that's your choice and you
No, no,
think,
but it's best not to. It's best not to. Because in that case they'll be like two best production designers, two this, two that, three that, three that. So the competition, it dies, and that's the thing. There's all's fair in love and war. So you got to make those choices.
yes, I mean, see, it's not that
So you know what I'm
the
saying is,
award-winning film. It doesn't mean that the film which has not got the award is not good. I mean, of
yeah.
course,
So
it
you
is
know,
equal.
you
The
know what
the
I'm thinking.
fact, the what we are trying to uh, compete with or create our image or build an image for our festival, for Lift India Filmotsav, is that if the film is selected by the festival, uh, it's an award by itself.
Absolutely. So the funny thing is, now I'll tell you what the funny thing is here. So it's like this. Now, say for instance, for best film. Now, I'm just choosing the best film as one category as an example for all the other categories. Now, for jury best film, I had five films listed. All right. Out of five films, one film wins. Now, the jury best film or the best foreign film or best short Indian film, these are the best of the best from the entire selection. Now, one's going to get chosen, and the other four are going to look at their film and be like, oh, why the hell didn't I get something? Because I can see it's very good.
Yes.
But that's going to happen in all the categories, and that's why, and that's probably the reason why, sometimes in one festival you got the best film, and in another festival you've just got an official selection, and you're wondering that, why didn't I get for this, why didn't I get for that? Because
Yeah.
maybe just in that category somebody else was better. Overall,
Exactly.
you were brilliant, but if your script is 8 points, but there's another film which was executed fairly well, but the script is 10 on 10, you want to give
Yes.
the best script to that film. So,
Yes.
so that happens in all categories across the board. So, it shouldn't be something. And why I'm saying this is that it shouldn't be something that discourages a person to send another short film, if you make another short film, back to the same festivals again and again, because it's just an enriching experience to do that for the filmmaker, uh, and for the festival, and for the audience that's going to watch these films. So I feel people should not be discouraged if your film has not been selected. If you believe in yourself, if you um, want to showcase your work to the world, then just keep showing it. Don't be discouraged because you haven't won something, because it's really difficult to choose one film. I
Exactly.
would like all these filmmakers, even filmmakers from last year, if they've made their films, they must show it because it's such fun to see films like these, you know. So keep sending them.
That's
Even
very well put, Abhimanyu. And on this note, I think we can wrap this session. That
sure,
our jury member says, that keep sending the films, keep making the films, and keep showing your films.
yeah,
I think
keep the
that's a very good
keep
message.
up the spirit of filmmaking.
Yes,
Absolutely,
and yes, so that we have more and more films and more messages, and which can change this world. So thank you,
absolutely.
Abhimanyu, for spending time
No,
for Lift
thank
India.
you. Been a pleasure.
And I know I have given you really, really tough time. I've pestered you,
No, no, no. It's
at all times.
all's well that ends well.
Thank you.
Good run.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your precious time with us,
Thank you so much.
Abhimanyu.
Thank you very much for this
Thank you.
opportunity. Thanks, Riju.
Thank
Bye.
you.